Hey everybody, this is Brian with Inspiring How You See That. We're the channel that talks about all different kinds of music and entertainment, and we interview some of your favorite artists. And today I have my good buddy Jimmy Mrozek here with me. And Jimmy, thank you so much for spending this time with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, so we're here at Laurentia Winery in Madison, Ohio, and you're from around the area, correct?
Yeah, from Willoughby.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, about 30 minutes away.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you play regularly throughout northeastern Ohio.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all around into Cleveland, downtown Cleveland, on the west side, south side, all sides.
Nice. Now, how long have you been playing?
I've been playing out since like around 2003, which is almost around the time that I started playing guitar. Really, like I really started to learn guitar when I was 18. Kind of going from high school to college, and ultimately what happened is like I went right into going to like open mic nights at coffee houses and things like that, being terrible. I think my first paying gig was next to a display of muffins, so I don't know if you could call it a show, maybe like a musical exhibition or something like that.
Hey, that's when you get all the bugs, right?
Yeah, right. All the sound and everything's terrible.
Yeah.
And you can only play 3 chords, but hey, I think that's really where I started and where I learned and kind of grew from there, if that makes sense.
Sure. Now, your style, and I've been listening to a lot, and it's funny because when we did the video, I said that you reminded me of Cat Stevens.
Oh, yeah.
From some of the videos that I
Yeah.
watched. And you do a lot of things like a Jack Johnson type of music.
Mm-hmm.
But then, as I've seen you live a few times, I mean, you've done everything from Bob Seger to Whitney Houston.
Right.
So what really are some of your musical influences that you like?
Yeah, well, I think it's a broad range because of my parents, really. My dad, I could remember driving around in his Thunderbird and listening to the Eagles and stuff like that, and like Bon Jovi and just Bob Seger, Bruce Springsteen,
Yep.
Acts like that, and then driving around with my mom and listening to like Whitney Houston, Gloria Estefan, so like it kind of gave me this musical range that I never really honed in on one like particular style.
Sure.
Growing up, I always kind of looked at like multiple styles, and still I think from this day like try to borrow from multiple styles, and that's really why I try to sing multiple styles. It's because I like the music. I like a wide array of music, so it's kind of where I've really learned. For people that grew up around the Cleveland area, are my age, Jammin' 92.3 was like a really popular music station. I remember I would go to sleep every night with the radio on. I would sleep with the radio next to my bed and just listen to all the different music that was on that station, and it was mostly pop stuff, popular stuff. So I really got my start in listening to that kind of genre, and that's kind of where I gravitate to. But then I pull from like the oldies, so to speak, classic rock and stuff like that.
Sure. One of the things that I've been impressed with is, even though you've got all these styles, you sing them in your own style. I mean, a lot of the songs, it's like you knew right away what it was, but you didn't try to mimic it. And so I appreciated that you kind of put your own spin on it. Has that always been what you wanted to do, or it's just kind of what came naturally to you?
I think it's natural. Plus, I can't sing like half the people that I cover. And so when you
can't do Whitney Houston.
Yeah. So when you paint yourself into that corner, you ultimately need to use your own voice, and it's hard because you want to default back to the way that it sounds.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when I play a song out, it's the first time that I've truly have performed it from start to finish. Sometimes it's rough, sometimes it works, and I think like for me, it's in my head of like, okay, I want it to sound like me. I don't want it to sound like the artist.
Right.
I want people to know the song and be able to recognize it, but I also want them to know it's me. My band, the Dear Jimmy Band, we've played on Foxy News a couple of times, and it's kind of interesting you ask that question because one of the things that they would do in their write-ups is they would say like that the band had covers like uniquely, which we've given our own style to, and that's kind of me, you know, putting
Right.
my own spin onto it and things of that nature. So I really feel more comfortable doing it in my style altogether.
Sure. Now, what would you say is probably your most favorite song to perform live in front of people?
Ooh, that's a tough one. It's funny because I have some songs that I've written, but I usually don't perform them.
Okay.
I maybe pepper them in once in a while. But my favorite song to perform, I really enjoy. Actually, really enjoy Billie Jean. I think that's fun.
Okay.
You know, the crowd gets into it. The crowd enjoys it. I do like playing "She Drives Me Crazy" by Fine Young Cannibals. That's really, really fun one. I used to play. I do every now and again. Katy Perry. You know, so it's just like
Firework or something like that.
yeah, you know, it's just so much fun just to do them all. Like honestly, like I really just love playing. If you notice, I don't take a break.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, and it's because I just love playing.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. It's so much fun, and yeah, I just really I love playing them all. To be honest with you, yeah.
Nice. And I was going to ask you, but I'm glad you brought that up because I mean, you played 3 hours straight. Every time I've seen you, no break. So it's just I can tell that you have that joy performing.
Yeah, it's like I said, and I think part of it is this comes from like a nervousness of like, oh, if I stop playing, people are gonna leave because
Gotcha.
when I started playing, that's how it was.
Okay.
When I took a break, people would leave, and I would always get conscious and say like, wait, are they leaving because of me? Like I stopped playing and now people are leaving, and how does the place that has hired me to play view that if people are leaving when I don't play?
Yeah.
So I really I think it's more of that. Like I enjoy playing, and then also I want to keep people there.
Sure.
And so I if I'm constantly playing music, they're gonna want to wait for the next song. Oh, what's the next song?
Gotcha.
And that's another reason why I try to switch up a lot of the genres.
Yeah.
Because I want to keep people guessing of what I'm playing, but I also want, you know, people at this table to enjoy, and
They're
people
all
at
different
this,
tastes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So I think like that's the thing. The hardest question is when people ask me like when I'm setting up. You know, somebody will come over to me and say like, "So what do you play?" And to me, it's the hardest question to answer because like I play everything.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I usually tell them a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and they kind of, you know, scoff at me. But it's true. You know, I just want to be the radio for people.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't talk much in between my sets and playing, because I just truly want to be like just music for people to enjoy.
Sure.
You know.
Absolutely. Now, you had mentioned that you've written some original songs.
Yeah.
Are you continuing to do that, or do you see that coming in the future where, you know, maybe you'll put some of them out on DistroKid or on YouTube or...
Yeah, so I actually have 2 songs that I've written that are out on Spotify and all the other things, Amazon Music and stuff like that. I have this sensibility about me where like when I'm writing a song, I have about 100 unfinished songs, you know, and most artists do.
Yep.
But I feel like I know where I want it to go, and I just can't make it there yet.
Gotcha.
And so I feel like I have a ton of them to get out, and I just can't finish them. You know, it's really weird. But there's 2 songs that I've written. One's called "The Weather." I really love that song. I enjoy that song. And then another one is called "Just That Simple," which I actually played earlier this evening. And it's kind of funny with "Just That Simple." I have a couple of students at school that actually like follow me on Spotify and listen to my music, and they all say that that's their favorite song of mine. So it's you know, like I've got some out. I'm gonna put more out when you know, when I'm ready, I guess. So.
So you mentioned you're a teacher. Do you get any influence from dealing with students of writing songs?
Actually, so my song "Just That Simple" is kind of like a kick around to like a young love, you know, like
Okay.
the first love that happens in school, and sometimes people write songs where they're like the like they're the person, right? Like
Right.
the story is about them. And sometimes songs are written where it's just a story.
Right.
Like somebody writing a story. And I think that's the way that I try to approach my songwriting is
Okay.
more of like telling a story. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm the story, but just that simple is kind of a kickback to like some of the like young relationships that I've seen
Sure.
happen at school. So I think like that's kind of an influence. I think.
Okay. That kind of reminds me of like the John Mellencamp, Jack and Diane.
Right.
That kind of storytelling.
Right. Yeah, because that's really what you're trying to do
Yep.
with the craft is tell a story, and so it's interesting about that song is I wrote it, and I recorded it like roughly, and I played it for my wife as we were driving in the car one time, and she's like, "This doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense," and she kind of like critique my song, and I always ask her to do that, and she always does, and I tell her, be honest with me, if it's terrible, it's terrible, just tell me, and she will, and so she actually pointed out a couple of like things in the song, and I went back and I like rewrote it, and it turned out so much better.
Nice.
So I have to credit my wife Heather for helping me write that song. Really,
There you go.
So,
So co-writer. Heather.
yeah, exactly. So on the credits, her name is there.
Excellent. Now, if you could go back in time, to, like you said, 2003, and give yourself some advice when you're just starting,
Yeah.
what would you say?
I think the biggest thing was just like don't get discouraged. Anytime you're like a younger artist, and I'm talking about me in the past, younger, because I'm not younger anymore, but anytime you're a younger artist, you do get discouraged. Whether it be people leaving when you're playing, or whether it be somebody you reaching out to a place and them saying no, or they're booked, or no response whatsoever. I think that that's the big one. Is I always like took it personally, like when I would send out a bunch of emails
Yep.
and phone calls and nothing would get returned. And
It's like, just say no.
yeah, right. No, it's true. And I would take it personal. I'm saying, well, wait a minute. I'm not that good. I'm not good enough to play here. And so, I really use that as my motivation to like get better and to keep trying. And so there were a couple times when I'm like, all right, well, I'm done. I'm not going to perform out anymore. Nobody's booking me. Nobody's responding to me. And then now I'm like turning people and places down because I've got so much. So I think that would be my number one piece of advice is just don't get discouraged, stick with it. And then like the second thing I would say is just like work hard and like I take pride in my product because me performing is my product and I take pride in it. And so I want to make sure that whoever is hiring me gets me.
Gotcha.
And I think that's another reason why I play those like 3 hours straight is because I want them to get their money's worth.
Sure.
From me. If they're paying me a lot of money to play at their place, the least I can do is play at their place.
Yeah. Give it your
and
all.
do the best I can. And so I think that's another like piece of it. Just work hard, play as well and as hard as you can, and enjoy it as much as you can.
Excellent. And Jimmy, where can fans find out more about you?
Yeah, so a couple places. They can go to my website, jimmymrozek.com. If you search my name in Google, everything's right there. Facebook, Jimmy Mrozek Music. Instagram @JimmyMMusic. So those are the big ones that I kind of keep up with and work through with that.
Awesome. And like always, we'll put all the links down below so you guys can find his stuff easily. And before we go, Jimmy, is there anything else you'd like to say to fans?
Yeah, I just really appreciate people that come out to see me. Like Brian, like I really appreciate you. Like,
Sure.
I thank you so much. Like, it
Absolutely.
means a lot. It really does. That you've come and seen me a couple times. You've brought your family. Nice enough to take the time to interview me and put me on.
We enjoy it.
On your channel, and I really appreciate that. And like, humbly, I really do say thank you to anybody that listens to my music, that has come and seen me at a place. It means a lot, and even if I don't get to like talk to somebody when they come, like, I know that you're there, I recognize you're there, and I really appreciate that you're there. So I think like that's a message that I really wanted to get across to everybody. Like, I really, really, truly, at the bottom of my heart, appreciate all the support that people have given me.
Excellent. And if you're in the area and you see he's playing, you gotta see him. I'm telling you, I think it's 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah.
He puts on a fantastic show. I love it. I know you guys will as well. So Jimmy, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
It's been a blast, and we'll definitely be seeing you again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
And as always, thank you guys for spending this time with us. We love you all. God bless, and rock on.
I swing my heart across the line. My face is flashing signs. See it out, show.